Welcome back, my fellow agents. It is I, X7, your ultimate agent of Ultra Action, and also the host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. Today, we're going to be looking at two episodes, um, 34 and 35. One is my favorite Ultraman episode, and one I have just recently, in fact, as of today, come to realize is an actual comedy. They're both kind of comedies, sort of, but this one's definitely. Both are directed by um, Akiji Jisoji, Akio Jisoji, and you can tell just by the way the use of the negative space and dramatic close-ups and just interesting fight scenes. So, our first episode is episode 34, which is a gift from this. Well, it's a gift from the sky, and it was originally aired March 5th, 1967. And it features the monster Skydon, which weighed 200,000 tons. That's like Fat Albert. I know you shouldn't. Anyway, so it starts out. There's a lot of food gags in this one, literally. Fuji can't finish her meal. Hayata can't. I don't know what she's eating, but it looks delicious. And it's this. These are the English dubbed episodes from whoever licensed them from Chayo and didn't get the complete English dub. So some of them have subtitles. But Hayata's there doing his nails. Fuji's choking, and um, yeah. So I don't even know why the VTOL's out. Oh, Captain Muro wants his umbrella in the rain, and then a man jumps off the building, commits suicide on the children's show. They couldn't have edited that out. It was decided that there was an evil force at work. What? This is never referenced again. Then something else falls from the sky. I love this shot, though. That's a great shot. They're woken up in the middle of the night, so no one's gotten any sleep, and Captain Murray chides Ito about not being in his regulation uniform, and there's a bit of a problem here with Cap's regulation uniform, which is on backwards, or at least his shirt is. So, it's a comedy. It's definitely a comedy show because this monster comes out of the crater it lands on, and it weighs 200,000 tons. I don't know if that's short tons or metric tons. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of weight. It sinks into the ground. It breathes fire. It's immovable. It is the immovable object. So, and they immediately attack it, which does nothing but enrage it. These things, I don't even know where this is. I should have asked Augie, but he probably gets tired of me asking him stuff. Or he doesn't. I'll never know. There's some burnt out. Anyway, they try several of these operations here that do not work. Spoiler alert. They're going to try to tow it into outer space, but it weighs so much they can't lift it. That's as far as they get, really. And then Hayata crashes, but using the Beta Capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman. He fights with the monster and bounces off of it, and finally runs out of power because due to the Earth's atmosphere, the energy Ultraman gets from the sun depletes rapidly. Really about 3 minutes, but Subaraya was always very loose with the 3-minute rule. Skydon goes to sleep. Skydon is a portmanteau, if you will, of sky and dawn, or sky and down, or sky and tooth. Dawn meaning tooth, like iguanodon or pteranodon, toothless wing, or iguana's tooth. It's just kind of a boring monster. He doesn't really do much. He's on some planet he doesn't looking for. I don't think. He's not that smart. They're trying to get him back to space. So for some other planet, maybe Jupiter, where he probably wouldn't, he'd weigh even more, but should have sent him to Mars and he'd weigh a fifth of what? So only 20,000 tons. Is that right? No, that's a tenth. Anyway, Ultraman flies away. Hayata's kind of injured, but not badly, but he's and then they go to the second operation, which they put a beanie. It's a comedy. They put a beanie on the monster. They blast him in the face with this rocket gun for some reason, but it doesn't. I mean, he's asleep. It doesn't even phase him. But they put the beanie on him. They're all happy. He floats away, and they're drinking ginger beer per the dub. Never seen ginger beer bottles that big. Slancha, Ganbei. Of course, he falls back to Earth because, how's it going to get to outer space? It needs air to lift up and energy. So Fuji has the idea to use a rocket bomb. And guess where it's going to lodge in this poor critter? Right in the butt, which does not do anything but annoy him. So back to next plan, which is monster ballooning. This one, they fill him up with helium or something. I'm guessing it's helium. Whichever one's explosive, helium or hydrogen. Probably helium. And he floats away. They're all excited. What was that commercial back in the day where they did the kick? Unfortunately, for some unknown reason, they didn't tell the Air Force that they're floating a monster up into space, and which would have stopped and just bounced around on the atmosphere, the Van Allen belt or something. And they blast him, cutting a big hole, and down the monster Skydon falls using a spoon. And this is one of the trademarks. Obviously, it's a very humorous episode because Hayata runs out and he tries to use a spoon to turn into Ultraman. Fortunately, he has the Beta Capsule with him, and he just smacks right into Skydon and it explodes. And Fuji's there. This is very reminiscent of the Kamakujira episode with the pearls. The music's very as well the same. I don't know if it lists who did the music there. Yeah. And Ito gets pooped on. There you go, Lilith. Doesn't happen. It happens to other people, not just you, and on national television. Oral droppings. Doo-doo. Caca. Shit. So there we go. And now we start the next episode, which, of course, is my favorite. Ultraman, here he comes from the sky. Taka, 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 taka. Ultraman, watch our hero fly. All right, so he's flying in a super jet, which, of course, now they're patrolling space. I mean, we're on episode 35. We've got 4 episodes, 5 really. Spoiler alert. But 4 episodes, official episodes left, and they're flying and patrolling space now, and they go to the Ultra Zone, where Ultraman deposits monsters he's defeated. Antlar. There are 11 cameo monsters in this episode. This one I saw growing up as a wee agent. One of the 3 Ultraman episodes I saw. Very memorable. I mean, it had 11 monsters. What other movie? Is there a movie that has 11 Japanese monsters in it? I wonder. The more monsters for this kid, the better. So it's Ito and Arashi, and they see this strange monster. Now, when I saw this, I don't know, I was 8 or 9 or 10 maybe. I thought that, and Doo-Doo, even though that was Doo-Doo, not Doo-Doo, even though it was on cable television, these prints were battered. They didn't even look this good. And I thought it was a robot monster of some kind. So I couldn't wait to see this episode again. Once again, the Jisoji close-ups. Hayata feels guilty. They go through this a lot. It's a lot of crocodile tears-ish. But you do get the feeling they feel sorry for the monsters they had to kill. And Ultraman mourns for the monsters. So they decide to have a memorial service for them, and this Gamora is the only one they should feel sorry about. Vanilla was destructive and needed to be stopped. That was one and then so was Red King. I mean, he's just an ass. But they have Buddhist priests. This is a very Buddhist ceremony, which is odd because usually you get a lot of Christian symbolism due to Tsuburaya being a Catholic, ostensibly. And then we get in, now we've got the Space Force, I don't know, sending the rocket to Mars. It's unmanned, but they're all happy because it's launched. But then it runs into Seabos, and there's our first real picture of him, the skeletal monster, aka the crying monster, aka pretty much my favorite Ultra monster. Uh, and they're all crying, and then he's just wandering around, and they call and say, "Let's go," and they do. He's trying to get back to the Ultra Zone, or the monster graveyard, if you will. I mistakenly called it the Sargasso Sea of Monsters because, it was like in our Sargasso Sea, they have all the old ships that are stuck there. These are all the monsters. And there he is, but he can't get down. He falls down. Ito tells him he's dumb because he doesn't have wings. He needed some Red Bull, apparently. Look at these just atmospheric shots. Now, if they hadn't started blasting Seabos right away, uh, then I would have thought, okay, they've learned their lesson. They won't go out shooting, but they did. But he cries a lot, and he just doesn't want to be on Earth, but he can't get out. More flashbacks. There's Goldon, more and Gabadon, and several others. If you look at here, you see in Naranga, Kemlar, Antlar, Gengo, Garamon. Yeah, he's in here. Telsdon, Gamora, Kamakujira, Goldon, Guigas, and Jamila. That's, I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 monsters. It actually, unless you count the fire dragon from Destroy All Monsters, tops Destroy All Monsters. And they're going to haul him up to outer space by sticking things in his hands. That's just cruel. Like they don't learn. But using the Beta Capsule, Hayata becomes Ultraman again. So the fight scene here is all in still photographs. These are right from it. I didn't have to, and you could see that these prints are still a bit battered. They hadn't gotten their restoration yet, which they have now. Bunches of fight scenes, throw and throw and throw, and then finally Ultraman. We go back to live action, and Ultraman tries to heft Seabos back into space by himself, but he's run out of energy. His color timer's blinking red, and he just drops him. And he lands. So there we go again. More destruction. Finally, they decide to paint the new rocket ship like Ultraman, so that Seabos will just, because the monster knows he can trust Ultraman, but he has to kind of clobber him a couple times to get him to do what he wants. And then he gets him to grab hold of the rocket as he's got the silver and red paint scheme. And off he goes. Kaboom! And once he gets to the Ultra Zone, Ultraman flies back. So he got, 3 Ultraman shots 3 times. That's quite a few. And they're patrolling again. There he is, all happy that he's on his rocket, and he's hanging out with Garamon and Jamila, Gamora. And that's it. They fly away. Everything's at peace in the world. So you can destroy all the monsters you want, and Ultraman will take them up there so they can live peacefully. Now, the other monsters were dead. They don't ever say where he deposited Seabos from, but I think it's a pretty cool little episode, and it does give the monster let you say, oh, you feel sorry for him. So it's my favorite episode. There's my Bandai doll of Ultraman, of my Ultra Kaiju. It's the one of the 2 I still have left. I had many at one point, and I haven't gotten many more. But there he is, and that's the one you see on the card. But that's our episode for today. All right, my fellow agents. Again, it is my favorite episode. We've got, I think, all the rest of them. No, there's one more that is adequate, but maybe watching it again will make me think it's better. So, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off.